Hi, everybody. This is Sherry coming to you live from my backyard here in Cape Coral, Florida. I wanted to talk to everybody about some tips to consider when you're starting to think about a container garden. You know, a lot of people have acreages, or a lot of people live in the city, and no matter where you live, you can have some sort of a container garden. You can start small, you can start large. It doesn't really matter. The whole thing is that's so great about a container garden is that you can control it a lot easier than you can digging up your yard and all of that. And you know, when I started my container garden this summer, that's the type of thing that I wanted to consider. For instance, you can see in the background my yard behind me, it's been planted with sod. I have, you know, it's all manicured, the urban lot, the whole thing. So I really hesitated before I decided what did I want to plant containers. Did I want to do the regular dig in the ground and have a great big garden bed? Or did I want to consider and have a raised bed garden? A raised bed garden is more in the ground, and I would have had to take out the sod, put in some boards to contain it, all of those things. So I thought a container garden would be a lot more flexible, and I think it is to many of you too. So let's check out some of the things that you're going to need to consider when you start your container garden. So decide what you want to grow. So I have to admit that I'm one of these OCD people when I start a new hobby. You know, I had these visions of vertical walls of flowers and plants on hanging from my fences. Whoa, reel it back, reel it back. Let's take a step back here. Is it just you, or are you feeding a big family? You know, we really want to be careful how many people that we are planting for, because I wasn't planning on feeding the neighborhood, you know? So I had to kind of scale back. Let's reel it back, Sherry. Let's first decide what we want to grow. Only grow what you're going to eat. It doesn't make sense for me to grow potatoes anymore because I follow a ketogenic way of eating, so I don't eat potatoes anymore, right? So you have to think about those kind of things. All right, things that are really easy to grow are herbs in a pot. Flowers do well in a pot. Maybe you just got this cute little African violet plant from your friend and you want to keep it alive. Maybe you've never grown anything before. Maybe you've already got the pot and the dirt and the whole thing, and you need to learn more about watering and all of those type of things. This is the channel where you're going to learn to do all those kind of things, and I will continue to bring you the content so you'll have the value and know what to do. All right, so whether you choose to start those, here's some more things that you need to consider. So with me, because I live in Southwest Florida, you know, most of the people are getting snow, cold weather. Anybody above the Gainesville, Florida line and getting a lot colder weather. In fact, this weekend is daylight savings. We'll all be moving our clocks back, and that's going to change our cycle of weather too. We're going to move into our cooler, drier fall weather. Hopefully the storm season is going to wrap itself up this year, although November is known to produce hurricanes too. So the point is that I can grow things outside during the winter where most of you cannot, because we'll be talking about hardiness zones and all that, which is basically how cold does it get in your area of the world. And so choosing the location is very important. So if you're starting a container garden right now, you're going to want to have a few pots that you start inside, or maybe you start some seedlings for an herb bed or something like that inside, just a simple little pot that you can control with the right amount of light, right amount of water and all that, because it's going to be too cold for you to start your garden outside. So that's number one. Maybe you're on the 12th floor of a New York City apartment and you don't have a lot of real estate to plant a garden. Maybe you have a little balcony. Maybe you don't even have that. Do you have lighting to grow your plants and all of that? You may have to invest in a little LED light. If you don't have enough light for your plants, they are going to require a beautiful sunlight like we have here in Florida and all of that. So, if you're planting vegetables and flowers, do you have a sunny spot? Now, what I've observed here lately, as you've seen my container garden, is right now I'm on the east side of the sun's coming up over here, west side over here. So I've moved a lot of my seedling planters, little containers, over here to the middle so that it gets more of both sides of the sun throughout the day, because vegetables and flowers like 6 to 8 hours of sunlight. All right. We talked about the cold. We talked about the sunny location. How much garden are you going to want to maintain? Do this is another thing. Like with me, it's like, oh, you start out and it's so much fun, all these plants, and then you get into the grind, right? Just like housework. Who really likes to do it? Not very many of us, but it's got to be done. It's got to be maintained. You've got to keep your house up. You've got to paint. All these things you have to maintain. Well, you have to maintain your garden too. You've got to give water to your plants and love. Every once in a while, you may have to fertilize your flowering plants, although your good potting soils will come with some fertilizer mixed in. So how much are you willing to maintain? Say that you've got 20 containers out there, you've got to still maintain your 20 containers, because why put in all the effort and buy those plants and start those seeds and all of that if you don't want to maintain it? Because if you don't maintain it, it's not going to grow, it's not going to live, and you've wasted your money where you could have just spent that money buying the things from the store rather than growing them yourself. So make sure that you know how much you can maintain, only plant what you eat, pick a sunny location, and learn about the different plants and what their requirements are for planting. All right, so we said too much to maintain, all of that. What is your container budget? This is another factor that you want to think about when you start out. Okay, say, okay, Sherry, I'm ready. I've had this little African violet and I've kept it alive now for 6 months. I'm ready to advance to another step. I'm ready to get in another plant. I'm ready to pot it myself. I'm ready to do all the things. What do I need? Well, you're going to need a high quality planting soil, or you're going to have to get all the things that they put into that planting soil and mix it up yourself. If you're starting small, just go find the smallest bag of high quality potting soil that y'all can find, so you don't have so much to store, and it has all the things in it. It's got the vermiculite, the perlite, the garden soil, the fertilizer, all of the great things that you're going to need. Start there. You need this good soil. You're going to need a pot with some kind of drainage in it, or holes, or make your own pot. And you technically can make a pot out of a cottage cheese or a yogurt container. Just poke a few holes at the bottom so the excess water drains out. Little tray or saucer underneath it. Paint it pretty colors if you want to with acrylic paint, or just leave it like it is, and there, voila, you have a pot and a planter. See, it's not that hard, but determine your budget. Make a list of the things that you want to buy. Say, oh, that looks so pretty. Then go visit your garden store, number one, to see if they have those plants. And number two, start writing down the prices that you see when you go to the store. You will be astonished how quick a container garden budget can quickly elevate. Like I said, I started out with, I have 3 blueberries, I have a blackberry, I have vegetables, herbs, and some flowers, which took quite a bit of dirt and quite a few pots and planters. So something to think about there. If you're planting a lot of plants and you like to keep track of the different varieties, like I am with my blueberries, I have 3 different kinds. I have Bonnie Bell, which is a bigger plant that I got at Lowe's. I have the Sharp Blue, which isn't doing as well, and the Misty, which is doing a little better. Both the Sharp Blue and Misty were shipped from up north, and we're just waiting to see how they do. So I have labels on those so that I can keep track. If you can't remember what kind of seeds you planted, I can tell by I remember generally what I planted on my planters. If I got really crazy, I could make little post-it notes or little labels and write cucumbers or parsley and oregano and all that. But I remember what I planted because, again, the scale helps determine that of how much you plant. And finally, enjoy your garden. This garden has been so therapeutic to me. Gardens are life. You go out every morning and you look at your little seedlings that are sprouting out of the ground and you think, wow, I planted that. I did that. You can do it too, and it's a lot of fun. Join me next time when we'll talk more about some tips for your garden and how to get started, and all of the ways and all the things you need to consider. Have a magical day, you guys. Share this video out. Make sure you subscribe on my YouTube channel and check the little bell that says all for all notifications. That way you'll know next time I have a video and a new episode come out. Have a great day. I love you all. Bye.